I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans.
And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field.
Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
He's the prime cut passer from behind the meat counter. It's Fairway Frank. And introducing a 6'3" center who's a cut above the rest. Say hello to Audie Crooks.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Cyclone Fanatic pregame show. I'm your host, Leah Nelson. Chelsea Poppens will be joining me in the studio in just a bit, and we're going to talk about Iowa State women's basketball taking on Texas Tech. They're finally back at home at Hilton tonight at 6:30, so we're super pumped for that. But before we get started, as always, we got to thank our sponsors, starting off with our title sponsor, Channel Seed. They're huge fans of Iowa State and the men's and women's basketball programs, of course, so we're super excited to have them on board. And then our friends over at Fairway Meat and Grocery. You guys, if you want good quality meat for your tailgate, backyard barbecue, anything and everything, make sure you check out Fairway Meat and Grocery up in Ames. It's the way to go. So thanks again to Channel Seed and Fairway. But Chelsea, we got a big game. You know, the women's team's finally back in Hilton, which is really exciting after taking on a little road trip to Arizona to beat Arizona and Arizona State. So, you know, they're taking on Texas Tech tonight. Texas Tech is on a 4-game losing streak. But you can't take any team too lightly in the Big 12. So, you know, what can we expect from Texas Tech tonight?
I think you're going to expect, like, Moppin is their guard that has been getting majority of their points in the last couple games with like 23 versus TCU, 15 in the West Virginia, 21 versus Kansas State, and then ASU Shavers was actually their leading scorer with 24. So I think between Shavers and Moppin, those are their main players. There's also Bristow, who's a 6'2" sophomore, who you'll see get out there. I don't know how much she'll contribute, but I mean, a lot of the games have been honestly like Bailey Moppin getting most of the points and everybody else under double digits. So she's been their main driver, but a little kind of fun, you can call it fun. Danae Fritz, who was a transfer from Iowa State, is now at Texas Tech. So it's kind of a nice showdown of someone who used to play at Iowa State, but is kind of coming back into the building, knows Iowa State's system and tactics. And so she's probably providing some sort of insight to Texas Tech into what Iowa State might be doing, but kind of fun to see her back.
That is exciting. I bet she'll have a warm welcome from Hilton, but I'm not too positive how Iowa State fans will react. But I think they'll be sweet and encouraging. But I don't know, have you ever, I know the rules with the transfer portal and transferring and everything has changed since you've played, but did you ever play a former teammate after they had transferred at all?
Yes. Kelsey Harris, I believe we played her on the opposing teams, but not like a lot. But I would say like the coaches are obviously competitive and they use that as a driver coming into the game. Like we have someone who left our program,
right,
to play for somebody else. Like let's kick their ass. But like the coaches are still very like nice and welcoming to them, and it's good to see them. But there's always that like that little betrayal.
No, it is. I've always wondered. I think I ended up playing one person who transferred, but she was just a sweet angel, and so like you couldn't be mad, and you were just excited to see her. So it wasn't. I've always wondered because like, for example, you had Kylie who transferred to Iowa, and I'm always like, oh, that is such a big rivalry, Iowa State, and then I'm like, that's got to be.
There probably wasn't. There might not have been a warm welcome on that one.
No offense, Kylie, but like, no, that one I always thought was really tough. But speaking from your experience, when you're supposed to win a game, every article I've read, everyone on Twitter, on social media, everyone has Iowa State winning this game. As a player, when you're supposed to win, is it hard to stay focused and stay in the zone, or, is it you prepare just like any other game?
I think they're going to stay locked in. I think in their minds they've lost enough games to Big Ten teams, and now that they've found their groove, I think they are probably going to stay in it. I don't think they're going to let their guard down anytime soon, because playing against UConn and South Carolina was like a big time eye-opening experience, and that they had to learn from. But hopefully they can translate the last couple games to today.
So what can we expect from Iowa State today with Texas Tech in the building?
I hope you can expect what we've been seeing in the last couple games. Like, we play way better when Audie isn't in 30 points, when other players are contributing, when Sydney Harris is in double digits and playing confidently and like ice cold out there. We play better when Kelsey Jones is out there, like getting on the ground, getting rebounds, doing scrappy work, and getting in the lane in order to create movement. Even when like Emily Ryan, she's been doing her thing, so I can't even say anything there. Just keep it up. But what would you say?
Well, I just think like keep the momentum going. Seriously, like when you can get 3 wins in a row, even if it's not to the best, no one's saying Texas Tech is this amazing team, but if you can get 3 wins in a row, and just like you said, getting everyone involved. I think we saw such a fun game these last 2 games when they played Arizona and Arizona State, when you had Sydney Harris making multiple threes, Kelsey getting in there. Like, you can look at the stat sheet and everyone has multiple points, and it makes the team excited. It makes the bench excited. It makes coaches excited. And then, it makes the fans excited. And I think it makes everyone play well. At least that's what happened when I played softball. Like, you had it's contagious. That's a perfect word to put it. Like, you have someone come off the bench, they have to pinch hit, they get a hit, and it's like the best thing since sliced bread. And it doesn't even have to be a great hit. It could, like, they're getting on base. It's amazing. So I'm hoping that the momentum keeps going. What would 3 wins mean to this Iowa State program, continuing on this long basketball season?
Sorry, repeat that.
I said, what would 3 wins mean to Iowa State after such like a tough preseason, before Big 12, and then continuing on to the rest of the season?
I think it's just proving that they're capable, and they're more than capable with competing with some of the top teams and top athletes out there. It's tough when you start out a schedule like we did. Nobody played a schedule like we did.
Right. Again, nobody played a schedule. Nobody.
But like, I think it's really just a confidence boosting, especially when they're a young team. And like, a lot of this is mental, whether we believe it or not. But like, just getting a win and getting out of that mental rut of losing and not being on a streak. Like, obviously Audie was carrying the team for a while there, and other players needed to figure out how they could come alongside what she was doing and add to it in whatever way that looked like. And now we're finally reaching that point where everybody kind of knows their role and knows what the green light and the red light is. And it looks smoother, and their offense, their defense is running much more efficient, and they're actually following the scouting report.
I was going to say, you can tell watching the game, they look more confident. They look like they're having more fun, which if you know me, that's what I love about the game.
Winning's fun. It's much more fun.
1000%. And so
much more fun.
Did you say home games?
Home games, but I would say like this weather is a little sus.
I know. I hope people travel out there. I took one step outside, and I was like, never gonna. I left my coat on at work until 1:00 today because I was so cold. And so I hope that doesn't keep people at home. But seriously, guys, get to Hilton. You've got 15 minutes. So if you're watching live, get loud, get excited. Iowa State taking on Texas Tech at 6:30. It's going to be exciting. So go Cyclones.